I want to congratulate all of those that's in the house tonight to another Tuesday night Bible study. And thank God for those that is joining us by way of social media platform. We're in the month of Tammuz. Tammuz is the month that God's intent was to be a month of worship. I believe one of the reasons that Tammuz was designed to be a month of worship was because when you worship, you experience transformation. Whatever you worship, you become like that which you worship. Now you got to notice that the children of Israel came out of Egypt, but you cannot worship without preparation. So God really prepared them for biblical and true and genuine worship. God prepared their heart and their mind. And how he prepared them in Egypt in the month of Nisan, when they first started the new month or the new year, or it was a reset for the nation of Israel. It was through the shedding of the Passover lamb. The Bible said without the shedding of blood there is no remission of sin. We can't worship him when there is the evidence of sin, or we have not been cleansed, we have not been washed. The blood cleanses and washes. So the Passover lamb was a preparation. They didn't know all of this right here, but as they was progressing towards the promised land, they stopped at the mountain, the Mount Sinai, where the God began to speak. That's the first time they ever heard the voice of the Lord. Moses heard the voice of God at the burning bush. God is a God, he's a father. And all fathers desire to speak to their children. All fathers have a desire to be intimate with their children. We can learn a lot, ladies and gentlemen, just looking at the relationship of God, who was not their father, he was their God. He wasn't their father, he was their God. The relationship he had with them and the progression that he took them through to bring them to a place of intimacy. God needed them to trust him. There can never be trust without testing. Never. And this is I think one of the elements that is missing in our homes, because we don't know how to test. We don't test for failure. We test for elevation and progression. We test to see, can I increase responsibility? Or I test, or God tests, to see, can he trust you and I with himself? God does not trust himself with everybody. Jesus said in the word of the Lord, he said, I do not submit myself to man because I know what's in man. Only person we see in the Old Testament that God revealed himself to is Moses. He said, no man can see me and live. So therefore, we can see the progression. Everything about God is testing for increase, elevation, and promotion. Are you getting this? It's about increase. Somebody says about increase. So we see that without the shedding of blood, there's no what? Remission of sin. So this is the month of worship. I cannot worship him. The first thing I have to acknowledge the provision that God has made for you and I to worship him. What blood does? Blood is designed to remove that which has blocked my relationship with God. That is why under the Old Testament, they had all of these sacrifices that they had to make. And the most important day of the Jewish year is the Day of Atonement. That's the most important day. Out of all of these days, that's the most important day. On the Day of Atonement. That's the day that they sacrificed the atonement offering. They sacrificed it for their sins to be forgiven them for 1 full year. And then when they returned, they got to sacrifice again. Jesus Christ is considered the Passover lamb. There's no more sacrifices. He is the sacrifice. But what was the purpose of this sacrifice? It just wasn't, okay, for my sins to be forgiven. Then why do God forgive my sins? What's the purpose of God forgiving my sins? What's the purpose of the shedding of his blood for the remission of my sins and your sins? What's the purpose of it?
To watch the rest of this powerful message, download Panorama's app, which is available in all app stores by searching Panorama Christian Center. Create an account to stay connected with Panorama Christian Center. One word from God will change your life. Blessings.